Paki Gang, Paki Gang, Paki Gang.
Welcome to DUNKINDONUTS. I got that Dunkin' love.
Came here fresh off the boat. I eat rice sometimes with goat. With Rabeet, then I partied. I'm sorry. Oh, guy, I'm so fine. I need for halal money. I don't do no origami. Yeah, ain't no competition. But till we can't. I need go. Are you Pakistan? My childhood, oh man, I had an amazing childhood, for real. Like, I grew up, well, I was born in Lahore, Pakistan. There for like 7-8 years before coming to America. To first grade, Toddlers Academy, shout out. Like, no, but we were spoiled as anything when we were kids, and surrounded by so much family and love, and just being reckless in the gullies. Like, that's what I remember about my childhood, and just like eating junk food. And we moved. My dad was going to school at Parsons in New York. Then he brought the family over, and then I was a fresh little fob. It was confusing at first, but then, you know, then I grew up as a Pakistani American here. And when we were making Dunkin' Lovin' was like our second or third video, I think. That was around the time when we first, like, when I kind of got this like feeling that I was just like, you know, like, let's make parodies of ourselves. And we started coming up with the channel idea, and like just my friends and I, and make the songs, and they would, you know, be in them and stuff. And actually the people that liked those the most, right? There was like, I'm Desi and I Know It, which was a parody of Sexy and I Know It. There's Dunkin' Lovin', and I'm a Desi boy. And our school, all the white kids in the school loved it. And they were singing all those songs before anybody. They were our first fans, and it was so surprising because I was like, wait, you guys like this? And they were like, yeah, it's amazing. And that's when I realized, I'm like, wait a second. That's what America is. America is, you know, picking up other people's cultures, finding what's cool about them, and then wearing it, singing it, putting it in a movie, whatever it might be. But there's not one culture here. They just pick up and you know, vibe with whatever is the cool and new or whatever. On a small scale at my school, we were the new cool hot thing. Desi culture. What is Desi culture? Oh, let me just like make all these songs and they'll understand it. After we dropped those, like, I think the third video, the Desi and I Know one, got like 100,000 views in a week or something like that. Then that's when people from different parts of the world started reaching out to us. And, you know, we just, like, Twitter just came out, Instagram just came out and everything, and we're making our profiles, and we're getting all this attention, and people are commenting and tweeting to us. Then I discovered Just Rain, aka Lee, all these people, FouseyTube, you know, all these people. And I was like, oh snap, like, other people are doing this. And at the time I was like so inspired by them. We can do this on our own, but through our own lens too. Like you're saying, the Pakistani lens or the Muslim lens. Like, I didn't see a lot of like those, you know, meshed together in that way. And like, it just inspired me like crazy. And I've always been into writing and making music and comedy and all of that. So it was perfect because I got to blend so many of my artistic worlds together, but use it for this like niche channel and really go all in on it. So it was awesome. Like, that, the start of it was so exciting. Like, I still remember, even though like now they're so like, you know, we're like little kids and it's cringy or whatever, but I'm so thankful though that like we went ahead and took that shot. You're fearless when you're a kid. And would I release that now? Like, hell no. Like, because there's just so much more pressure and like standards that get raised as you get older. But I love like that we took that chance when there was nobody watching us. Like, now you would put out something and be like, oh my God, it didn't get 10,000 likes, we failed. And then we were like, oh my God, one person at our school, like amazing. And then seeing 100,000, like that was mind blowing. I think we started around middle school, but like in high school is when it was like first taking like more establishing the channel a little bit. RwnlPwnl channel, yeah. It was like a fun word. We just made, you know how like Desis rhyme everything, like jai shai, roti shoti, khana shai. I think at the time the word pwn was really popular, and it meant to like own somebody, like, oh, you got pwned. Friends, Farhad, rest his soul, he was doing this dance and he kept saying like Rwnl Pwnl. And we're just like, that's what the channel should be. It's basically like we're trolling. So it started off with like that trolling, you know, the trolling name of like getting pwned and stuff, and then putting the Desi twist on it, and having people always like question like, what is that? What does it mean? Yeah, it's also just like having it be a made up word makes it so that everything on the channel is gonna be almost made up, because there's not like one sort of, it's not one culture. It's actually like a blend of a lot of different things and languages, and us making up our own terms and languages along the way, and our own like, you know, things that people end up really gravitating towards. So it sets that tone that like whatever you see on this channel, like we're making our own subculture basically. No, not really. Like we do get people saying things here and there. Sometimes there's always like, you know, every now and then there's an imam that shows up to our mosque and pulls me aside and is like, Faras, you're the YouTube guy, you know, you need to take down the videos and this and that. But at the same time, there's like, I'm friends with some people in the community and like muftis and things like that who encourage us to continue making the content that we make. For example, we have a series called Types of People During Ramadan, and you know, they think that things like that bring the community together a lot, because the kids are going to be on YouTube and TikTok and all of that anyways. And if we can make it a fun experience while sharing our Muslim experience, then, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. And, you know, at the end of the day, like my parents are our biggest fans. Like all of our parents encourage what we do and love what we do, because they've seen the results of it, you know. When we go and perform around the country and are flown out to shows, and we have fans lined up who love you know, what we make, and are sing every song to every lyric to every song that we're singing, you know, seeing that sort of reaction, they know that what we're doing has worth to it, and it's making some sort of an impact. You know, like along the way you get little I guess validation from bigger stars, and you know, people that are like the governor or something like that, who recognizes the importance of spreading culture and doing it in an entertaining way throughout. So there's been like, you know, we've been featured in different places. We've performed with like Mickey Singh, and we performed at this charity event that Hassan Minaj highlighted the previous year, and we've met Hassan. And you know, like again, when we meet these people and they've kind of been in the lane, and even other people who are now in completely different professions that wish that they could have, you know, contributed at least to the arts and you know, entertainment field in our communities, then it's really validating, because they encourage us to keep going for the community's sake, because we need more faces and more representation, proper representation in our community. I did go to like an all-white school, and it was not that hard of a transition. It was probably the first year where I was just getting sort of the dialect right, and slang and things like that. We spoke English in Pakistan too, like at my school and everything, we had to. But that wasn't too bad. And like elementary school was fine, because when you get older in like middle school, high school, that's when I started seeing like my like other people that were in my community, so we had a very like small Muslim community here, but a few other kids, like I would see them get bullied sometimes. That's where like I would step in and just kind of be the peacemaker or whatever, because the other thing is that I know that a lot of brown families that come from there are just focused on academics right away, and we were lucky that our parents encouraged us to try all types of different things, whether it be like join other clubs or sports and things like that. And my sister really encouraged us a lot to make sure that we are parts of other communities that are not just school, because that helps build those bonds and relationships and helps you relate to people. So we were all kind of captains of like different sports teams, and we were excelling in different clubs and extracurricular activities. So people knew us, my siblings and I, on that level, and we were lucky to have some sort of influence, and build those types of friendships that if there was any sort of situation, we could step in and say, hey, no, like that's someone who's from my community and they're like family, that's not gonna fly here. And so it wasn't anything bad like that, even though I did grow up in a very conservative town, even up until like we would like work jobs like waiting tables and things like all types of odd jobs for like college and everything like that, and during college. And I remember when I used to wait tables, we would get all types of people that like on a daily basis, and many times throughout the shift, I'm answering the same questions over and over again. Like, people are asking like, oh my God, where are you from? Like, you speak such good English. Aren't you glad you're here now? And at first it kind of like was annoying or, a little bit uncomfortable. And then as it went on, this is really where I got a lot of my confidence from, is just dealing with everyday people and understanding how they work and all of that. And I figured out that they're not necessarily arrogant. Most of them aren't. They're just ignorant, just don't know any better. Times, I started changing the conversation and, putting the ball in my own court, where I was like, they'd say something like, aren't you glad you're here now? And I'd be like, no, I kind of wish I was in Pakistan right now. Like I'd be my cousins just like eating a golgappa or something. And then, building conversation in that way, and them saying like, what is that? And I'm like, you never been? Are you serious? You should go. And they're like, oh, but it's like this over there. I'm like, who told you that? Like, I never seen that in my life. I never seen any of, and that's the truth. That I'm not like making this up. I'm not trying to protect my identity.
To sacrifice my own life for Pakistan.
Right? Like, I think growing up, sometimes you are very protective of it, where you're like, you're scared because you don't want something that you don't know enough about to be questioned, and something that you can't control. I can't control the way I look. So if somebody has some sort of negative thing to say about that, it attacks me personally. But as you grow up, taking on that identity that, what, I am American. I'm 100% American. It's 100% Pakistani. And I'm in this weird sort of own subculture, right? Like, the people that have the hyphen in their name, with like, you're not just American, you're not just Pakistani, you're Pakistani American. And that idea comes from a friend of mine, Atif, who's really dope, but he talks about the hyphen community, where we have our own sort of subculture where we're taking from both of those. We're too American for Pakistan, we're too Pakistani for America, but we're just right in the Pakistani American community. And so, learning from jobs like this, it was simple. And I'm like, I have an edge over these people because I'm more educated. I have more experience. I know more languages than them in that way. And it's not to say like in a cocky way, but it's just about self-realization. You're being proud of it. And they're so proud of, the things that they come from. They're proud of, we love the Ravens over here, but they're like, they would defend the Ravens to death. It's a football team. Like, calm down, but I get it. So why can't I defend like my identity? Yeah, you feel me? Like, it's also about experiences. Everyone has totally different experiences based on their own appearance, their own name. Like, so I have friends that have had totally different experiences because of something like their name, or the way that they appear, and made me push forward with the effort after hearing the other stories and igniting that flame in me that like, no, like hell no, like we gotta be proud of where we're from and be able to educate ourselves about these things, because it's a lot of fear that, if somebody says this to me and I don't know the answer, what's going to happen. But, we have to do that extra work sometimes, but it's worth it. Just do the work. And, like you need people, you need to hear people's stories. You need to tell your own story. That's what helps bring a community together. I think, being older now, I realize the things that I miss a lot. And I would say the number one thing is the culture of family and, the closeness, the village sort of life. Like the whole vibe of like, you live in this big house together and everyone like contributes in some way, but the family's always tight and not really like, yeah, you want to be successful and stuff, but like you don't want to go anywhere without the family. The difference about America, everyone is so independent here, which is like, that's why this nation is the way that it is, and it succeeds the way that it does, but there's sacrifices that come with it, right? I'm actually wearing a shirt that I designed, an LF Theory shirt. On the back of it, it says the American dream, and the dream stands for all the sort of sacrifices that come with it. So like D, depression; R, racism; E, ego; A, addiction; M, money. So along the way, growing up, I've seen so many of my own friends even, and just people that I know kind of fall into this American dream. And at the end of it, sometimes, people that go on and be really successful, or, whatever their idea is of happiness, whether it be money or whatever, and them being lonely, or, there's a lot of depression and other sort of things that people go through along the way of what, makes up this American dream. So we're very blessed as multicultural people to know the best of both worlds and decide for ourselves where we want to go with it. So to bring it back around, Pakistan like shows me the simplicity of life and love when you can just sit on the the roof of your house, eat some mangoes, and life is beautiful. Like you could ask for nothing more at that moment. Most people, and the way that the way that I was raised and all my family over there, we're really just having a good time with each other and spending a lot of time with each other. I love that community. There's some people that I've come across that have become like lifetime homies, basically. Just off the top of my head, like I'm thinking of Labib Yasser from who does the Kids React, Teens React videos. We met online, and he's such a cool, inspirational individual from LA, and he does really great things. Isaac Saqib from Mercy to Mankind in New York, he has a whole fashion line that he has, a fashion brand that he's just been an amazing supporter, and knows the hustle better than anybody. This girl Divya from New York, who's amazing in business, and there's so many other people. Ayan Zubair, who is also from Long Island, and he's goes to Berkeley, but he knows so much about entertainment and about ethics, and is so dedicated to our communities. All these people, and the list goes on, have helped me and my team just understand the value of the things that we do, apart from the entertainment, and staying connected with one another on opposite sides of the country or of the world. And I mean, I hope like we can inspire people to tell their own stories and be proud of their own identities. I don't want to be somebody who like, Farosty or Rwnl Pwnl represents everything about Desi culture and about Muslims, but just inspiring certain perspectives and telling certain stories and all of that, and just being there for that value of creativity and entertainment.